Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Let's go. We are in the new season, Might and Mastery. So I am going to try and go all out this season. I am really looking forward to it with the content. I can't wait. How's everybody doing? Are you looking forward to the new season, which begins tomorrow? I'm certainly looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm going to have a little bit more time on my hands because I do not at the moment have a job. I am out of a job. I'm not going to go into detail why, but I really needed to get out of there. Anyway, but and by a little bit of more time on my hands, I mean a lot more time. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay because I'm doing great. If you'd like to help me, I'm not asking for anything. But sitting through an ad instead of skipping it, obviously that will help. And recommending videos, watching them, all of that good stuff. It costs you nothing. So if you have a little bit of extra time in your hands, that will help me. But with that being said, we're gonna jump into the Great League Might and Mastery. Now, obviously, as the meta develops, some of these rankings could change, some of these teams could change, but I am certainly looking forward to it. And yeah, we actually have a really good update. So let's go ahead and dive right into things and talk about it. So for the S rank, Mandibuzz, as of right now, is actually ranked #1 on PvPoke if you preview the next season. And I totally understand why, right? Because a lot of Pokemon like Dusknoir, Grumpig were boosted, right? Sableye, and of course, Mandibuzz is going to do well against these Pokemon. It double resists Psywave, which is huge. Or Hex, which was also buffed. So Mandibuzz is going to be all over the place. It was still really good during multiple seasons, right? For a while. So nothing directly was buffed when it comes to Mandibuzz, except for like Pokemon that were buffed that Mandibuzz does well against. That's what helped Mandibuzz. If that makes sense, right? I'm sure it does make sense. But Clodsire, another great Pokemon, of course. I've been using it with Sludge Bomb, and it's been really good. I prefer that moveset, Sludge Bomb, Earthquake, and then Poison Sting. You could run Stone Edge. It really depends on your team comp, but I've been enjoying it. Sludge Bomb for the Fairy types or the Grass types. And then we do have Lapras. This Pokemon was buffed. Let's go. It now will get Psywave as well as Sparkling Aria. Now, Sparkling Aria is actually a really good move. The reason we don't see it on Primarina is because Hydro Cannon is just slightly better. And you're not going to run double water moves on Primarina because you want the coverage, right? But on Lapras, it's really good. So Psywave and then Sparkling Aria and then Ice Beam. So beautiful coverage, really highly ranked. I have a bunch of Lapras. I don't have a good one. I'm still going to build one for the Great League and use it, but I just don't have a good one. But eventually I'll get a good one. I already have them built. I already have Lapras built because I have used it in the past. So this I'm actually really excited for because Lapras is actually one of my favorite Pokemon. I loved when Ash got one in the Orange Islands, going back a little bit, right? And then we have Malamar. Of course, Malamar has Psywave, right? So we've seen Malamar in the past with Foul Play and Superpower, so it's just such a great Pokemon. And then we have Sableye, actually the Shadow version of Sableye. You want the Shadow one so you could run Dazzling Gleam, because it's going to be getting Dazzling Gleam, and Dazzling Gleam is actually being buffed as well. So you're going to get to it faster. I believe that's what Dazzling Gleam is doing, right? I don't think it's doing any more damage. I think you just get to it faster now. So Sableye is back in a new way. So I actually have to check to see if I have a decent Shadow one. I don't know if I do or not. I might not, but I'll check. You know what? I'll check. Maybe I do. I don't know. But yeah, without return this time, it's going to provide really good coverage. Still want that Foul Play and Shadow Claw. Shadow Claw is a busted move, right? Galarian Corsola. So Galarian Corsola is actually being slightly nerfed. Nightshade is doing a little bit less damage. But it's still a really good move. It's super bulky, and it's just still going to be a great Pokemon because Astonish is a great move. Power Gem is a great move. That's the other move it has, right? I think it is. And then, you still want Nightshade, still going to be a good move. And then we do have Grumpig. So this Pokemon, massive buff. It's receiving Psywave. It also has Dynamic Punch. Is it receiving Dynamic Punch, or does it always have Dynamic Punch? I don't remember. But either way, Dynamic Punch is also being buffed. I think it generates energy quicker, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'll have to double check some of these moves, but I know Grumpig does have it, and it's just so good in the Great and Ultra League, and it's going to be good in Themed Cups. Love to see it. And then we have Dusknoir. Dusknoir actually ranks super high because Hex is being buffed as well. So, Dusknoir, as well as Dynamic Punch, right? This one has Dynamic Punch, I think. And again, like some of these Pokemon I might not be familiar with. I did look at the listings, but some of the moves I might not be too familiar with, but or some of the Pokemon I should say. But still, it's going to be super, super powerful. Can't wait to use this one. Then we have Diggersby. Of course, Diggersby, no buff to it this season, but it's still really good. Quick Attack, Fire Punch, Scorching Stance, generally the moves that you want. Same with Feraligatr, no direct buff to it, but it does have Shadow Claw, which is a broken move, and then it has Hydro Cannon, which is also a broken move. And I like Ice Beam. I think you want Ice Beam on it. I could see Crunch this season just because there's so many things like Grumpig and Dusknoir and Goliath Corsola that are going to be really good. So I could understand the Crunch. I mean, Ice Beam would do well against Bandabuzz, but at the same time, Hydro Cannon is still doing a lot to it. Either way, we'll see. We'll see how the meta develops, but I could see both move sets, either the Ice Beam or the Crunch. I could see both of them, but you definitely want the Hydro Cannon for sure. Moving on to the A rank, Morpeko. Morpeko is just a really good Pokemon. It just gets to the ore wheels so fast, and you know, we see Seed Bomb once in a while. I personally like Psychic Fangs on it. But Seed Bomb could catch trainers off guard, especially if you want to go for the water types. But still, you have the Ore Wheel Electric for the water types. Claydol, so Claydol is going to be a lot of fun. So here's the thing. Claydol, as a Mud Slap user, is going to... it has Mud Slap, right? We know how good Mud Slap is, but it's also getting Rock Tomb. And Rock Tomb is being significantly buffed this season. So Claydol is actually going to do really well in the Open Great League as a Mud Slap user. So I'm super excited to try it out. For sure. Jellicent is back. Jellicent kind of fell off when Surf was reworked, right? Surf doing a little bit more damage, but at the same time taking longer to get to. But now, since Hex is buffed, you're going to be able to get to those moves faster. So, yeah, going to be fantastic to try out Jellicent for sure. Togetic is also being buffed. I'm trying to remember. I know it has the Fairy Wind. It's Dazzling Gleam, right, that it also has. I'll have to double check on Togetic, but I know it was highly ranked, and it's going to be fantastic to try it out and to use it. I'm looking forward to it. Gastrodon, we've seen Gastrodon, of course, ever since the Mud Slap buff. We know how good Gastrodon is. Ooh, Goliath Weezing. So Goliath Weezing, it does have Sludge, but Sludge is also another move that is being buffed this season. Before, it was kind of like, it wasn't a good move. You would have like Brutal Swing or Overheat and Play Rough. Now I think you generally want Sludge, great coverage, obviously against the Fairy types, and then you want Brutal Swing, because like when you were running like Goliath Weezing with like Overheat and Brutal Swing, it's a poison type, but it's resisted by like a Azumarill, for example, so like you're really not doing anything. But now that you're running Sludge, now at least you're going to be able to do well there. So I'm excited to try it out, Goliath Weezing. I actually have a Shadow one. You know, I have a really good Shadow one, but I have a good Shadow Corphane that would be a good Shadow Goliath Weezing if you could evolve it. So they have to bring that back. But I have a bad one for Great League I'll use, but I have a really good one for Ultra League that's a Shadow Goliath Weezing. But you could run the Shadow or regular one. Azumarill, just nothing buff to it. It's just really bulky and just really good as it's ever been. Primeape, no direct nerf or anything, but... You know, maybe I put it too high, but just because Psywave, just because a lot of things were receiving Psywave that are really good, that Primeape does have to watch out for. Well, Grumpig, actually, mainly. But Lapras, too, but you're also doing super effective damage towards Lapras because it's an Ice type. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Drapion is going to be a lot of fun because it's going to resist Hex, which is buffed. It's going to double resist. No, it's going to single resist Psywave, excuse me, because it's a poison typing as well. It is weak to that Mud Slap, but it was also weak to Mud Slap last season. And Claydol does have Mud Slap, but at the same time, you also have Crunch. So you're doing super effective damage towards the Claydol as well. So Drapion's going to be as good as ever, I think. And then for the B rank, unfortunately, I don't have a good Shadow one. I just have... I use a Shadow one, but I don't have a good one. I probably should farm it, to be honest. But for the B rank, we have Pangol. Okay, Pangol is a fighting type that does resist Psywave, which is going to be good for the Pangol. So, I mean, maybe switching this with Primeape would have been the way to go in terms of rankings, but I do think Pangol could be a lot of fun. Jumpluff does have Acrobatics. You know, when I checked the next season on PV Poke, they still recommend Aerial over Acrobatics, but it really, I think it depends. Because, at the end of the day, I think it depends if you're running Shadow, or it depends on your team or anything, because Acrobatics will do a lot of damage for sure. It's a great move. Machoke is actually on here. It does have Dynamic Punch, so Dynamic Punch receiving that buff. So this is a legacy move. It's the Karate Chop that's legacy, or is it? I don't know. I don't know what's legacy on this. You have to double check it, but could be a lot of fun to use and could be really good to use as well. Again, it just has to watch out for Sidewave, and with the buff to, like the Dust Noir, obviously Machoke doesn't want to see that. Steelix, we know has Thunder Fang, and then we know Psychic Fangs. I mean, Steelix is just generally good. Credilli is another Pokemon receiving that buff with Rock Tomb, so you're definitely going to want Rock Tomb on it. Rock Tomb is going to be a really good move. Ferret is actually really cool. It has Sucker Punch, Trailblaze, and it had another move. I don't remember, but I think it was another move that was buffed as well. I really don't remember. But Sucker Punch wasn't buffed this season. It was buffed a couple seasons ago. But again, Ferret going to be pretty cool to use. I'm looking forward to it. Emoga was double buffed because it has the Discharge, which is being buffed this season. And it also has Aerial Ace. There we go. So yeah, I mean, I think Emoga, certainly in limited metas, but even in the Open Great League, I think Emoga is going to be fantastic. So I love this Pokemon. This Pokemon was actually kind of annoying to battle in limited metas in the past, but now think about it, it's that much better. Annihilate. So Annihilate, of course, we've seen this plenty of times before. It just has to watch out for the Psywaves, which we have this season, as well as Hex. But still, a little bit of a nerf to Annihilate. I still think it's going to be good, but then we have Galarian Moltres with the Sucker Punch. And yeah, I mean, you want to go after Grumpig, you want to go after Dusknoir. I think Galarian Moltres is a good way to go. And then Wigglytuff, in my opinion, the best Charm user. Nothing nerfed to it or anything. There's a lot of good Dog types. So I think this will be a good Pokemon to use, or fighting types. So yeah, if you want to use this one, I think it's a really good Pokemon. Other options, we do have Carbink. Of course, we've seen Carbink before. Stunfisk as well. Guzzlord could be good. I mean, it's nothing buffed to it. It just like, it recommends Dragon Tail, Brutal Swing, and Sludge Bomb. I think that is the moveset I would like. The Shadow Alolan, the Shadow Mawak. I think Claydol is actually going to take this one over, to be honest, which is funny. I think the Mudslap users, you're going to want a Claydol and Gastrodon. But we'll see. We still might see this, but yeah, that Claydol is going to be huge. And then Golok, another Mudslap user, but it also had the Dynamic Punch, which was buffed too. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's really frail, but again, limited metas for sure. And then we have Clefable as a fairy type. Quagsire has been pretty good. We know Toxapex, Alolan Sandslash as well. Nothing nerfed to it or anything. Superior. You know what? Superior's a good Pokemon. Obviously, Frenzy Plant hits hard, and everything like that. I'm just looking forward to trying out that Credilli Grass type as well. I still think we will see a Superior. Drifblim, PvPoke for the next season actually recommends Hex over Astonish now on Drifblim. So that's going to be interesting to see. And then we have Blastoise. So Blastoise is receiving Rollout. This is actually not as highly ranked as I expected. It's still decently ranked, and we still might see a lot of this. To be honest, I'm going to try Blastoise myself, but it's not in the top ranks, which I expected. And some of the other rollout users like Dunsparce or Miltank are not either for some reason. Dunsparce is actually very, very... I mean, I think it was ranked 97. It was... I mean, obviously things could change as well. This is just a preview of the next site on PvPoke. Definitely check out the preview site as well. But, things could change. But I do think Blastoise, I mean, it's tanky. It recommends it with Rollout. It recommends it with Hydro Cannon as well as Skull Bash. But, yeah, we're going to move on to the solid team options. So for the first team, this is a team I want to try out. Double Psywave, Grumpig, and Malamar. So, the backline, not really going to appreciate... I mean, this whole team generally will not appreciate Mandibuzz, to be honest. And I do think Mandibuzz will be common. The Malamar's not weak to Mandibuzz, but the problem is you have to go for Superpower and you debuff yourself, and it's really not going to do a lot to Mandibuzz, and the Psywaves are going to be double resisted. So you could run Stone Edge if you want to on the Clodsire on this team, so at least you have a super effective attack towards Mandibuzz. If you run Sludge Bomb, it'll be neutral. Grumpig is not weak to Charm. but the Malamar is, whereas that's why I kind of like having the Clodsire. So we'll see how this team works, but double Psywave team in general I think could be a lot of fun. The next team we do have Lapras in the lead with, well, the backline is going to hate Charm, right? Obviously, or fairy types in general, Sableye and Mandibuzz. And the backline also is not going to like Mandibuzz. Another team that's not going to like Mandibuzz, even the Lapras because of Psywave, but at least you have the Ice Beam on the Lapras to hit Mandibuzz for super effective damage. And on the Sableye, you also have the Disarming, not Disarming Voice, Dazzling Gleam. I might confuse those, so you know what I mean if I say it. And then the Mandibuzz is neutral to Mandibuzz, so I guess it's not that bad against Mandibuzz. It's just that Mandibuzz is super tanky. Next team, we have Diggersby and then Togetic, and then Feraligatr. So Diggersby and Feraligatr not buffed. Both of them are weak to grass, so if you want, you could consider running the Togetic in the lead and maybe having Diggersby as a safe swap, or the Gator as a safe swap, one of those. If you wanted to, put the Togetic in the lead. Next up, we have another team with Galarian Weezing. Love the Sludge. Gonna try it out. And then we have Ferret. Ferret is going to be a lot of fun with Sucker Punch, and especially since I think Grumpig will be really common. So it's going to be a lot of fun to try it out. But you still have to shield against the Grumpig because it does have Dynamic Punch. And then Wigglytuff as a Charm is going to be really good. And then another team we do have Credilli in the lead with Drapion. I think Drapion is a great safe swap. And then we have Emolga. Looking forward to it. Trying it out for sure. I actually want to try this team too. And then the final team is going to be a double Hex team with Dusknoir and Jolison. And then I put Wigglytuff in the lead. Now, we'll see how this team works. Obviously, the backline is not really going to appreciate that Mandibuzz. You know, you have to be careful because I do think Mandibuzz will be common. So generally, try to build teams at least with one answer to it if you can. Wigglytuff, of course, is a great answer to Mandibuzz. But yeah, this is a new meta, so we'll see how the meta develops. I'm looking forward to this season. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.